Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we worked on mini project. So people has developed some functionality in the mini project, and some people are not able to develop the functionality in the mini project. Okay. So shall I start the project development from today, guys? Shall I start that mini project development? Come on. Guys, please respond. Shall we start the second mini project
Yes,
development
sir.
from today? I'm not getting any response.
Yes, sir. We develop.
Okay. So now we are going to start this development of the second mini project. It is basically related to user management, right? Creating the user account. So to create the user account, there are some drop downs available. That drop downs functionality is a dependent drop down. The drop down functionality is a dependent drop down functionality. So we need to get the data from the database tables, right? Okay, we need to get that from database tables, and we are going to implement user registration. When user is registered, password should be generated, and that password will be sent to the user in the email. So from that email, user will try to log in. If user is trying to log in for first time, he will go to the reset password page where he can update his password. Once password update is completed, he will go to the dashboard page. In the dashboard page, he is going to get some quotations from the third-party API, and we will display in the dashboard. For this project, we have done some analysis also. What are the database tables we are going to take, and what are the Java classes we are going to take, and what are the methods we are going to take for this project. Now, let's start the development process from today. So I'm going to create new Spring Boot project, Spring Starter project. So we are going to add the dependencies, like we need web starter. Let me give the name for the project, 0 to user management application, user management app. Now click on next. So we are using MySQL driver, and we are using DevTools, Data JPA, Spring Web, Time Leaf. Okay. Any other dependencies that are required, guys? MySQL driver, Data JPA, DevTools I selected, Web starter, Time Leaf I selected, Mail starter we need to select, Spring Boot, Mail starter, we need to send the emails by using our application. So I think these dependencies are sufficient to develop our project. To develop a web application, web starter, for the presentation, Time Leaf, to communicate with the database, Data JPA, MySQL driver, Mail sender, DevTools. Okay, along with these dependencies, guys, for Ajax implementation, we need to add one more dependency. For Ajax implementation, we need to add one more dependency. So that dependency is web jars dependency will be available. So we need to implement Ajax call for country, state, and cities, right? So for that, we are going to use one dependency called web jars dependency. That dependency we need to add manually in the pom.xml. Okay, so first step, create the project with the below dependencies. Development process, create project with the below dependencies. Step 1, create boot application with the below dependencies. What are the dependencies we are using? First one is web starter. Then for this one, UI purpose, we are using Time Leaf. Then Data JPA we are using. Then we are using MySQL driver, and we are using mail starter to send the emails, and the dev tools we are using. Along with this, we need to add one more starter, which is called jQuery starter. We are going to add jQuery starter we are going to use, which is used to implement Ajax functionality in our application. So with this, my project got created. Go to pom.xml, and you can see the dependencies that are added here. Data JPA, mail starter, Timeleaf, web starter, dev tools, MySQL driver, Tomcat is coming by default. So along with this one, we need to add one extra dependency that is called jQuery dependency. So this is used for working with Ajax calls in our project. So let me add this jQuery dependency here. Whenever we are creating the project, you can't select the jQuery dependency manually. We need to add this jQuery dependency. Group ID org.webjars, artifact ID is jQuery, version 3.6.4 I am using. Version 3.6.4 I am using, so that it will be downloading the jQuery dependency that is required for our application. Okay, so once it is done, let us do the Maven update here. Maven update our project, force update of this Maven. It is going to download that required jQuery dependency for our application. Okay, downloading this one, that's fine. Next one, let me create the entity classes required for the project. New package in .ashokit.entities. Entities nothing but the Java classes which are mapping with the database tables. Then I need to create repositories to communicate with the database, and I'm going to create another package for DTOs. As we discussed, form DTOs we are going to create, right? So let me create one package called DTO package. In .ashokit.dto package I'm taking. Then services will be available. In .ashokit.service will be available. And the next one, in .ashokit.controller will be available. Service and controller is available. Next one, we are having some view pages, that's fine. So we are going to create entity classes and repository interfaces, binding classes, DTO classes we are creating, service classes we are going to create, service interfaces and implementations, and controller classes will be available, view pages will be available. So my packages are ready. Now let me create the entity classes here. So we are going to create country entity.java, which is used to map with the country table, country repository, state entity, state repository, city entity, and city repository will be available. Okay, so let me create these things. First one, entities, new class. The entity class name is country entity.java, which is used to map with the country table. And the next one, state entity.java, to map with the state table, state entity.java we are creating. Then next one, city entity is available, class city entity is available. Okay, and the next one, we are having user entity, new class user entity. So total 4 tables available in our application. So we are taking 4 entity classes. Let's go to country entity first. So this is our country entity. To represent this as an entity, we are using @entity annotation. @entity annotation we are using, so that this class will be represented as entity class. Then table annotation I am using @table. Then name you can give any name for this. So if you don't give the name, it will take class name as a table name. So I'm taking this as country master. And in this table, two variables are required. One is country ID, another one is country name. So country master table is having two columns, guys. One is country ID, another one is country name. Private integer, private integer, country ID, and private string, country name I am taking. So this is a primary key value, and we are not inserting any data. So generator, if you don't write also no problem. Generated value strategy is equal to identity generator we are using. Okay, country ID and country name I am taking, and let us write setters and getters for these variables. For these two variables, I'm going to write setter methods and getter methods. Right? Let us generate the setter methods and getter methods. Right click, source, generate getters and setters. For all these two variables, I'm generating. So with this, my country entity is ready. It is mapped with a country table. Country ID is a primary key and the country name is available. Then next one, let us go to state entity. State entity is available. Let me take this as @entity and map it with a table. @table is available. Then name is equal to state master. Name is equal to state master. I'm giving now state ID, state name, and it is belongs to which country. Okay, so private integer state ID is available, private string state name is available, and it is belongs to country. Okay, so here private country is available. It is a foreign key here. @many to one, @many to one, and @join column. The column name is equal to country ID. Column name is equal to country ID. So state table having a relationship with the country table, that relationship is many to one. That means multiple states belongs to one country. Multiple states are belongs to one country. So if you want to establish the relationship, you can do like this. If you don't want to establish the relationship, directly you can take private integer country ID also. Because we are not inserting this data through application, so establishing that relation is not required. Directly you can keep a private integer country ID. If you want to establish the relationship, then you can keep like this, many to one. That means multiple states are belongs to single country. Country ID is a foreign key in the state table. So if you observe in our analysis also, country master table is having two columns. State master table is having three columns. In the state master table, country ID is available as a foreign key. So if you want to establish relationship, association mapping, many to one relationship we need to establish, because multiple states belongs to one country. Like this you can do it. But why I am not writing like this is, we are not inserting any data into these tables through application. In the backend database, we are going to insert the data. So that is the reason directly I am going to specify, integer country ID like this. Directly I will specify integer country ID. So this is a primary key, which is ID, and this is generated value. Generated value strategy is equal to identity, and this generator also not required because we are not inserting the data. So country entity is available, country ID and country name. If you want to column names also, you can specify @column. This column is also optional. If you don't specify the column name, it will take your variable name as a column name. country column name and country name I am going to take country ID and country name. Similarly, in the state also, column state ID I am going to take, state ID I am taking, and state name I am going to take, state ID, state name, and this is country ID. So in the state table, I'm taking three columns: state ID, state name, and country ID. Then let us generate setters and getters for this one. Right click, source, generate getters and setters for these three variables. All right. Right. For the state entity, we are good. Next, go for city entity. Here also same concept. We are using entity annotation, and let me use table annotation. Guys, are you able to follow me? Here I'm taking the table name as city master. So if you see in the city table, we are taking city ID, city name, and state ID. So let me take the variables here: private, integer, city ID, private, string, city name, and the next one, private, integer, state ID. This city belongs to which state ID. So here I am taking @ID, which is a primary key, and generated value strategy is equal to identity. Generated value strategy is equal to identity strategy we are using, and a column column annotation we are using, and that column name is equal to city underscore ID we are taking. And the next one, coming to the city name, column name is equal to city underscore name, and state ID, so integer state ID. State ID we are using as a foreign key in the city table. So for these three variables also generate the setters and getters. So select this, generate the setters and getters for these three variables. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys
Yes,
clear
sir.
with my point? Please respond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I created one
Yes,
entity
sir.
for country table. I created one entity for state table. I created one entity for city table. Now I'm creating user entity. So this is very important table in our application where user registration data will be maintained. So user master table, which is going to contain these columns, right? So let me represent this also as a entity and map it with a table. So table name, I'm taking this as user master. Now, what are the variables we need for this one? User ID is required, private integer user ID, private string user name will be available, and private string email ID, username, and private string email I'm taking. Then private string password will be available. Password will not come from the application, but we are going to generate that password. That is our requirement. In the registration page, there is no password available. In the registration page, there is no password. Application should generate that random password, send it to the user in the email. Application should generate one random password and send it to the user in the email. So that's why I'm taking the password, and that password user will update when they log in for first time. For private string password updated. Okay, yes or no we can take. Boolean also you can take it for this variable. Updated initially will be no. Once they update, that will become yes. Private string password updated will be no. then private long phone number will be available. Okay, then next one, here it is having a relationship with the foreign keys, country ID, state ID and city ID is available. So let me take a relationship, private country, which is with country, private string, private state will be available, private country entity, basically private country entity, it is having a relationship with the country entity, it is having a relationship with the state entity. Similarly, city entity is available and which is having a relationship with the city. Okay, and the next one, we are going to have the columns, private local date, private local date, I'm taking created date here, and private local date, updated date. So when this record got created and when this record got updated, we need to maintain. For the created date and updated date, we are going to use @creation timestamp. You don't need to insert the value for this column manually. When the record is inserted, automatically created date will be populated by using creation timestamp. And the next one, update timestamp is available. Whenever the record got updated, this updated timestamp value will be populated. Okay, so user entity, user ID. User ID is a primary key. Let me take it as @ID. And the next one, @generated value. We are using strategy is equal to identity. ID generated value, strategy is equal to identity strategy we are using for this one. So what is the meaning of that identity, guys? Column will be available with the auto increment. Identity means column will be available with the auto increment. That column value will be auto populated. That column value will be auto populated. Very good. Now, so user ID, username, email, password, updated date, phone number, country, state, and city. Okay, fine. So here, the column name, if you want to map it, then you can specify @column. That name is equal to, column name is equal to user underscore ID. And here, column name, user name, we can specify, email ID we can specify, password we can specify, password updated or not, phone number, and this local date, created date, and updated date. So these columns specifying is optional. If you don't specify, it will take our variable name as a column name. But for best practice, we are giving updated date, created date, and updated date. Okay. Now here I am giving updatable is equal to false, and here I am giving insertable is equal to false. Updatable is equal to false and insertable is equal to false. What is the meaning of updatable is equal to false and insertable is equal to false, guys? What is the meaning of this? Updatable is equal to false and insertable is equal to false. Any idea?
Yes, sir. If we provide updatable equal to false, then we cannot update that data. And
Right. Whenever you give updatable is equal to false, created date column value should not be updated. Whenever the record is created, that created date column value will be populated. Next time when I update the record, this column date value should not update. Updatable is equal to false. And for updated date, insertable is equal to false. When the record is inserted first time, updated date should not be there. When the record is updated, then only updated date should come. When the record is created, then only created date should be populated. After that, we should not change those values. All right. Now, so this is user entity, which is mapped to user master table, user ID available, user name is available, uname nothing but username I'm taking, user email ID is available, and the user password is available. Okay, password updated or not, password. So first time password updated will be no. Next, user will update the password. When the password is updated, we will set that value as yes. Now I want to establish relation. So one user is available, and this user having a country. One user having a country. So multiple users belongs to one country. Multiple users belongs to one country. So what is the relation we are going to establish now?
Many to one.
What is the relationship we are going to establish now? We
Yes,
need
sir,
to
many to
specify
one.
many to one annotation. What is the meaning of many to one? Multiple users belongs to single
One
country. Join
country.
column name is equal to country ID. So I want to store country ID in the user table, not country name. So this user belongs to which country? Country ID I will save. Then similarly, multiple users belongs to single state. So here I'm going to specify join column as a state ID. And multiple users can belongs to single city. So I'm going to specify city ID here. Join column. Okay, so many to one relationship for the country, many to one relationship for the state, many to one relationship for the city. So like this we are taking the foreign key relationship here. Multiple users can belongs to single country, multiple users can belongs to single state, multiple users can belongs to single city. So this is my user entity class. So here I am taking created date and I am taking updated date, guys. So this is the table structure. For this table structure, I have created my entity class. Look at this entity. User entity is available, which is mapped with the user master table. User ID, I'm taking as a primary key with the generator identity. User name is available, email is available, password is available, password updated, yes or no, true or false. If it is updated, then reset password page will not come. If it is not updated, then reset password page will come. And phone number is available, country is available, state is available, and city is available. And we are having created date and we are having updated date. Created date is available and updated date is available. Are you clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Yes. Now let
Yes,
us
sir.
generate setters and getters for these variables. Right click, source, generate getters and setters to set the data and to get the data. Yes, setters and getters available for these variables. So with this, my entities are ready. Next, I need to create the repository interfaces. Now let me go and create repositories now. 4 classes, 4 entities, 4 tables available, 4 entities I have taken. Now repository. So this is user repository. Okay. Then next one, country repository. Country repository, and the next one state repository and the city repository. State repository we are using and the city repository we are using. So four entities are available now. So 4 repositories. So one is country repository, state repository, city repository, user repository. So these repositories, I want to make them as JPA repositories. So they are going to extend from the JPA repository. The entity, this is country. The country entity is available. Primary key is integer. So this is my JPA repository, which is my country repository, extending the properties from JPA repository. For this, I am giving a country entity and integer. Now take this value and go to state repository, extends from JPA repository. Let us give the state entity here. For the repository, we need to specify the entity class with which table it has to connect. Okay. Next, go to city repository, it is going to extend from JPA repository, and we will specify this as city entity. Okay, then next one, user repository is available, and here we are going to write user entity. User entity we are going to specify. You got my point now, guys? You got my point now?
Yes, sir.
Public interface user repository extends from JPA repository. That user entity comma integer is available. So with this we are able to create our repository. So as of now, I'm not writing any methods in the repository. If required in future, whenever we are developing the logic, then I will create some custom methods in the repository. Next one, binding classes we need to create. DTO classes, form binding classes we need to create. DTO new class. So first, if you see registration form available, for registration form I need to create one binding class, which is register form DTO. And the next another form is login form is available, new class. I'm going to create login form DTO. Reset password page available, reset password DTO, form DTO, reset password form DTO I'm creating. And any other class we need to take, quotation API response DTO, quote API response DTO, new class, quote API response DTO, third party API, quote API response DTO I'm going to create. User DTO also I'm creating. To represent the user information, one DTO class. So these are the binding classes I created: register form DTO, login form DTO, reset password form DTO, quote API response DTO, and user DTO classes I created. Can you guys tell me what is the purpose? Can you guys tell me what is the purpose of these DTO classes? Can you guys tell me what is the purpose of these DTO classes, guys?
Form binding.
For form binding, to take the data from the form. Okay, so user will submit the form. That form data we need to take, and we need to display that form data. We need to convert that form data into entity before inserting the record into table. We need to take that data and we need to insert that data into our database table. Form binding. So first one, so if you see login form DTO, and when you are writing the variables here, guys, you need to make sure your entity class variables are matching with the DTO class variables. Then only we can copy the data. So here user ID, uname, email, password. Okay, so whatever the variable names you are using in the entity, same variables I'm going to use in my DTO class also. Then only form data can be mapped from one object to another object, because I want to copy the data from one object to another object. In order to copy the data from one object to another object, variables should match, guys. So here I'm taking private integer, country ID will come from the form, and from the form we are going to get the state ID. Okay, and from the form we are going to get the city ID. So we are going to get the IDs from the form. So user ID, user DTO contains user ID, username, email, password, updated password updated, phone number, country ID, state ID, city ID. Like this we are taking user DTO object. Okay, now same variables, if you go to registration form DTO also, registration form DTO also will contain this information. Registration form DTO, that means for the user registration, what is the data we are getting? Name we are getting, email, phone number, country, state, city ID we are getting here for the user registration form DTO. Okay, register form DTO available. For the login form, what we will get? Name and email ID we are going to get. When user login, we will get the name and email ID. When you go for the reset password, what will be available? In the reset password, email ID, password will come, and a new password, confirm password will come. Okay, email ID, password, private string, private string. So this is old password, new password, and confirm password. If you go to this page, old password, new password, confirm password, email ID, old, new, confirm. So for this form, we need to take the variables. Email will come, old password will come, okay, new password will come, and confirm password will come. Private string, confirm password is coming. Okay, so now if you observe, register form DTO is available. What is the purpose of this register form DTO, guys? Can you tell me? Come on, can you tell me what is the purpose of register form DTO?
Binding the form data.
Binding the registration from data and convert to the entity.
Yes, whenever you submit that user registration form, that form data will be captured and will be stored into one object that is called register form DTO object. Okay, and you make sure the variables in the register form DTO with matching with the entity class, because we need to copy the data from binding object to entity class to insert the record. We need to copy the data from binding object to entity class. That's why the variables should match, guys. Okay, for these things, let us generate setters and getters for these variables. Source, generate getters and setters. Yes. Now, this is the data we will get from the registration form. From the login form, you will get only email ID and password, right? When user login, they will enter email ID and password. Let us generate setters and getters for this one. Source, generate getters and setters. For this one, setters and getters I have generated, and reset password. So in the reset password page, they will enter email ID, password, new password, and confirm password. Okay, then let me take these things. Source, generate getters and setters for these variables.
So can we use Lombok data annotation?
Yes, sir, we can use that also. For the quote API, guys, so we are going to get multiple quotations, quote API response. So we will see, after seeing the third party API, we will design the variables for this class. Okay, user DTO, user ID, username, email, password, password updated, phone number. So user DTO available. I don't need all this information from the user. I just need what is the email ID, what is the password, what is the password updated flag available for the user. Then let me generate getters and setters. I just want to understand whether user password is updated or not. That's it. So that's why I'm taking limited variables in the user DTO. After login, I need this DTO object to understand user password updated or not updated. Are you clear with the binding classes I have created? One class variables I am not writing now, which is quote API response. Why we are not writing these variables? Quote API response DTO.java. Why we are not writing the variables here, guys? Come on. Why we are not writing the variables of quote API response?
We are not sure what the response is coming from that API.
So third party API, whatever the third party API I have given for you, this URL is not working now. Okay, so I will give another third party API URL, which will give the random quotations for you. Once we see that, that the third party API, then only we can decide what variables we need to take for that. Okay, currently this third party API is not working. So we need to see the third party API. If third party API is working, then we can understand what variables we need to take for this response.java. So this API response.java class is used to map the response given by third party API. Okay, mostly by today, I will give the URL for that third party API also. Based on that, we can design binding classes here. All right. So with this, the basic structure is ready. Entities and repositories ready. Binding classes also ready. Next, we need to create the services. So we are going to take user service.java and we are taking dashboard service.java. So go to the service package, new interface. I'm going to create my interface, which is user service, and another one I'm creating, that is dashboard service. New interface, I'm creating this as dashboard service. Already we identified the methods. For countries, get countries method, get states, get cities, duplicate email check, save user, login, reset password. Already we have identified the service methods also. Just let me take these methods. User service.java. Okay. So these are the methods we are going to take for user service to perform the operations. Now, can you see the methods I have written in the user service? What is the purpose of this get countries method, guys? This get countries method is used to get all the countries data from the database table to display in the drop down. When user comes to the application for registration, countries should be displayed in the drop down. So for that, we need to get the countries from the database table. For this, I have taken get countries method. Once the countries are retrieved, once you select the country, if you select a country as India, then India related states should come here. So for that, I am writing one method, get states based on the country ID. If you select India, based on the India country ID, we will get the states of India. If you select the country as a USA, based on the USA country ID, we will get the states. Then once the state is selected, for example, you selected state as Telangana. Based on the Telangana state ID, I will get the Telangana cities here. So these three methods are used to get the data for the drop downs: country drop down, state drop down, city drop down. Then after this one, duplicate email check method is available. When user is trying to register, if he is giving duplicate mail ID, we should not allow. To stop it, I'm taking one method, duplicate email check method. And the next one, save user method is available to perform the user registration. I'm taking form DTO object and I will return true or false. Record is inserted or not inserted. Login method. Login form DTO object I am taking and I will return user DTO. Login may be successful, login may be failure. If login is successful and I want to do one more check. If login is successful, directly he will not go to the dashboard. There is a check in the middle. If login is successful, I want to understand user password is already updated or not. If user password is not updated, then we need to display reset password page. So here, if I take Boolean, can I implement this requirement? Reset password page requirement, can I implement, guys? No. If I take Boolean, I can't implement it. After login is successful, I'm returning user DTO. If credentials are invalid, this will be null. If login method returning a null, that means invalid credential. If login method returning the DTO, that means a valid credential. Then I will check password is already updated or not updated. If a password is not updated, reset password page will come. If a password is already updated, then dashboard page will come. Okay, so like this, we are going to use user DTO object, and we are going to use reset password page. Reset password method. Once user landed on the reset password page, he will enter the old password which he received in the email, and he will enter the new password, confirm password. If new password, confirm password is same, then we are going to update that password in the database. We are going to update that password in the database. Okay, and here we need to check the old password with the email ID and old password, the user is available or not. For that, email ID with old password, yes. This method, we can use login method to check user password is valid or not. Yes, we can check it. If any other method extra, I think we need to write one more method extra. So why one more method? When user is trying to update the password, whether he is giving old password correctly or not, we need to find out that. Okay, we need to find out that they are giving the correct old password or not. If old password is correct, then only we need to update, otherwise we should not update. So with the email ID, they will give the email ID, they will enter old password, new password, confirm password. New password, confirm password, same or not, we can validate at the UI side only. Once they submit, old password is correct or not, we need to verify. For that, so we need to write one method. Let me write one method, public user DTO, get user by email. So based on the email ID, I can retrieve the user record. Then I can check with that given old password record is available or not. Okay, I'm writing one extra method in the user service, guys, which is used to get the user record based on the email ID. Based on the email ID, we are getting the user record. Are you clear with my point?
So when we are login for first time,
Yes.
at the time of login, we are giving the old password. Now, then why we need to verify once again? After login, the password page will become reset.
Yes, so after login password page is coming here, then we can remove this field. Then we no need to ask them to enter the old password.
Yeah, at the time of login, we are
Yeah,
verifying.
already at the time of login, they are giving the old password, right? Correctly, yes, sir, you're right. We can remove this old password method. I mean, that variable, we can remove that from the screen itself. Okay, then we no need to take this method.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. So this is our user service functionality. Guys, just observe these methods. I will be back in 1 minute. Yeah, hi guys. Are you able to analyze these methods? What is the purpose of these methods and why we are taking these methods? Guys, are you able to understand these methods? Anybody not able to understand the methods I have taken? Anybody not able to understand the methods I have taken in the user service?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the purpose of duplicate email check?
Sir, the method name itself will tell you
No.
what is the
So,
purpose.
if we taking email
If
column as
user is
unique,
trying to register with a different duplicate mail ID, we should not allow them. So you already created account with one mail ID. Second time also you are trying to create the account with the same mail ID. We need to stop that, right?
no. But if we take a column as a unique, then
That also, but for user we need to display the message. Na? Whenever you register, you need to get a alert. Duplicate email entered.
okay,
So database unique apply सकते हो. It will not allow
Mhm.
to insert, but end user should know why that registration is not happening.
Okay,
End user should know why the registration is not happening.
okay.
So if we use unique in the entity class, then it will not store duplicate email.
It will not insert in the database, but how it will display message in the UI? How you will display message in the UI?
Yes, sir.
So whenever user is registered, I will check with the mail ID record is already available or not. Okay. Then if it is already available, then I will say that user record is already available.
Hello.
Yes.
We can use Ajax also no, for this.
Yeah, we have to use Ajax for displaying the drop downs data.
No, for even for duplicate email check.
That also we can do that. Yes, with Ajax call we can make.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep. Hello.
Sir, like why we took integer and string there, like in 12, 14, 16, right? Based
Because I
on
need the
country
country
ID,
IDs. So whenever
we
I'm
are
displaying the
requiring.
country, based on the country selection, with the country ID only, I'm going to get the
Country,
states. So that's
yeah,
why
those
key
are
I'm taking
increment,
as
yeah.
integer, value I'm taking as a string.
Yes, sir. Okay, got it.
You got my point?
Got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah. All right, guys, good. So with this, we got the clarity on the user service. Now, similarly, let us create one method for dashboard service also. Get quote method is available in the dashboard service. And that is going to return a string value. A random quotation we are going to get. Third party API will give you list of random quotations. From that random quotations, one quotation we will return from our method. Our dashboard service method is having get quote, that return type is string. So this method will get the quotations from third party API. Third party API will give multiple quotations. From those quotations, we will take one quotation and we will send it. From that, we are going to take multiple quotations and we are going to send that quotation here. And the next one, email service class I'm going to create, which is used to send the emails from our application. Once user is registered, then email should be triggered. For that, we need one method. So I'm taking one method called public boolean send email method I'm taking. For this, we will use a string subject and the string body and the string to address to whom you want to send that email I'm taking. So here I will write the logic to send the email later. Then I will return true or false value. If email is sent successfully, this method will return true. Otherwise, this method will return false value. So these are the things that we created as of now, and we discussed that two controllers also required. One is user controller, another one is dashboard controller. So let me create, I'm just creating the skeleton today, guys. Okay, new class. I'm going to create one class with a name called user controller, and another controller we are creating as dashboard controller. User controller and dashboard controller I have created. So in these controllers, we need to write several methods, guys. First, I will represent this as a controller. For that, I will use @controller annotation, and dashboard controller also to represent this as a controller. @controller annotation I'm writing. What are the methods? Depends on the requirement. We are going to write multiple methods here. And coming to the templates we need to create. What are the templates? Views, login, register, reset password, dashboard.html. So view pages we need to create. Go to the templates folder, new file. So login.html, instead of that we can use index.html, anything is fine. Login.html, that is one file I'm creating, one HTML page. Then similarly, new file, register.html, registration page available. And the next one, we are going to create one more file called reset password.html. Reset password.html we are creating, and we are going to create dashboard.html. 4 pages available in our application. Dashboard.html pages I have created. So with this, my project skeleton is ready. Okay, then once the structure is created, go to properties file. We need to configure data source properties and SMTP properties. We are connecting with the database, and we are connecting with the SMTP also. Mails we have to send. Application.properties file. So here we are going to configure data source properties for our project. Okay, so here localhost :3306, and our database name is JRTP27, and the username and password. Username is root, and password is also root. So DDL auto update, show SQL true, format SQL true. Data source properties available, ORM properties also available. Along with this, we need to configure SMTP properties here. What are the SMTP properties we need to configure? To send the emails from our application, Gmail SMTP properties we need to configure. The Gmail SMTP properties like this: SMTP host, SMTP user, SMTP port, SMTP details we need to configure in our application. And here, when you are configuring these SMTP properties, you need to generate the app password for your Gmail account. You should not configure your original Gmail password. You need to generate the app password for the Gmail in order to send the emails from our application. So what are the SMTP properties we need to configure for our application? So SMTP properties like this: SMTP host, okay, SMTP port, SMTP host, SMTP port. We need to configure. 1 minute. Your email ID and your password you need to configure. Gmail, mail.gmail SMTP information we need to configure. So these are the SMTP properties we need to add. Spring mail.host. So Gmail host will be available. Gmail port, your Gmail username, your Gmail ID you need to configure. For your Gmail ID, you need to generate Gmail app password, not login password, guys. Gmail app password you need to configure. Login password is different, app password is different. Gmail SMTP host, Gmail SMTP port. Okay, those details we need to configure here in order to send the emails. So SMTP will be available like this: smtp.gmail.com, port number that is 587. So we are going to send emails from our application. To send the emails from our application, we need to configure SMTP properties in the application. company, once you join in the company will give you SMTP details. Once you join in the company will give you SMTP details. But here, as we don't have the company SMTP, we are using Gmail SMTP for our practice. smtp.gmail.com, port number is 587, username, your Gmail account you need to configure, and your Gmail app password you need to generate. Do you know how to generate app password? Do you know
Yes,
how
sir.
to generate the app password for this one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We did.
So you know how to
Yes, sir.
generate the app password. If you don't know how to generate the app password, now it's very simple, guys. So go to Gmail, log in into your Gmail account first. Okay, I logged in into my Gmail account. Once you logged in into the Gmail account, then you go here, go to the Google. After login, first you log in into Gmail account, then go to the next tab, then go to the next tab. Here you type Gmail app password. Gmail app password. It will give you the option to generate the app password. Okay, this is the link that you need to use to generate the app password for your Gmail account. So Gmail app password. So once you log in into Gmail account, it will ask you your credentials. Yes. So once you go here, it will ask your app passwords here. Now go back. There app passwords option is available. App password is removed. If you want, you can create the new app password. You can create the new app password. So once app password is generated, now you can go back and you can try that once again. App password is removed. You can create the new app password. Okay. App password is used to log in into our application. App password is removed. You can add the new app password. Go to Google, Gmail app password, which is used for SMTP, guys. Go to myaccount.google.com app passwords. So once you click on this link, it is asking the app name. So I'm giving the app name as 02 mini project, and I will click on create. When I click on create, this is the app password is coming for us. This app password you need to configure as your password in the SMTP. Your email ID and your app password you need to configure in order to send the emails from our application. Okay, so for your Gmail account, you can generate the app password like this. So once the app password is generated, you can configure your SMTP properties to send the emails from our application. Data source properties I am configuring, ORM properties I am configuring, SMTP properties also I am configuring here in our my application.properties file. Okay, with this, the basic project skeleton is ready. There is nothing coding as of now. Just we created required classes, required interfaces, required methods, required view pages, and we configured properties file. So create boot application with below dependencies, then create entities and repositories, create entities and repositories, create form binding classes, create binding classes, create binding or DTO classes, create service interface, create service interfaces with the required methods, then create controllers, create controller classes, create view pages, configure below properties in application.properties file. So what are the properties I configured, guys? Data source properties I configured, ORM properties I configured, SMTP properties also I configured. Okay. Create boot application with below dependencies. Web starter, time leaf starter, JPA, MySQL driver, mail starter, dev tools, jQuery. Dependency, this is the extra dependency. At the time of creating the project, you will not get this dependency. So manually, we need to add this dependency called jQuery dependency. Then I created my entity classes and repositories. I created binding classes, okay, and I created my service interfaces with required methods. I created controller classes and I created view pages, and I'm configuring the properties. So with this, our project structure is ready, guys. With this, our project structure is ready. So with this structure, now we need to start the coding part. So if anybody has not started, I hope some people already completed the project last 2 days, last week, Friday and Saturday. Within the class, I have not explained anything. I have given the time for you to do the practice of this project. I have given the time for you to do the practice of the project. Okay. So I hope most of the people already created the project structure, and coding also, almost 80% of the coding also already completed. I think only that Ajax functionality was pending. I think that Ajax functionality was pending. Okay. So now today, if anybody has not started the coding part, I request all of you, please start your coding. Okay. So you need to create one Spring Boot application. You need to create one Spring Boot application with below dependencies. jQuery dependency we need to add separately, and we need to create the entities and repositories. We need to create the bindings and DTOs. We need to create service interface with the required methods. We need to create controller classes. We need to create view pages, and we need to configure properties in the application.properties file. So this is what I have done today. I just prepared my project skeleton. My project structure is ready. Now I need to start the actual coding part. Now I need to start the actual coding part for this project. I need to start the actual coding part for this project. Okay. Yeah, today I will send you the third-party API also, which will give you some random quotations, and by using that random quotations you can access it. I think already in our class one person sent me that quotation API also in the chat box. Is it giving the same API, same quotation every time? Yes, every time it is giving the new quotation, guys. That's great. Yeah, so the random quote API is available now. So I'm giving that API in the chat box. Dummy API, dummyjson.com API is available. /random. So can you hit that URL, which is giving the random quotations for us? Which is giving the random quotations for us. This is the API. Third party API is available. Guys, are you able to hit that URL now? dummyjson.com /random. So this is our third party API. So when we hit this API, it is giving some random quotation for us. That quotation we need to display in our dashboard page. Are you guys able to access that API?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
based on this API, you can understand that what are the variables we need to take. So this is the API. What are the variables we need to take, guys? What is the response we are getting from this third party API? ID, quote, author. Okay. ID is coming, quote is coming, author is coming. ID is a string. It is a key. What is the value? Some integer number is coming. Quote string, author string. So go to quote API response DTO class. Quote API response DTO class. So we can take this one, private integer ID, private string. What is that key we are getting? Quote is coming, and author, private string author. Right. So let me generate setters and getters. Source generate getters and setters. Perfect. So with this, our Quote API response DTO also ready. So we will hit the third party API that will give some random quotation for us. That random quotation we need to display in our application. Sir, why you have added this requirement? This is just to understand web service communication. How one project is going to communicate with the another project. To understand that, we are using this functionality. Is this clear?
Yeah, sure. I think one thing.
Yeah.
So in the dashboard page, we have to display only the quote, or we have to display the author and the quote.
If it's up to you, sir, what, because we are getting two values, right? You can display only one, or you can display both also. Quote you can display, and below that you can display author name also.
Okay, anyway, the model is three things, right?
Yes,
ID,
model is having all the three. Whatever you want to display, you can do. From the third party, you will get both values.
Yes,
so if
yes,
you want to
okay.
display quote colon quote and author colon author name, anything you can display.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
It's better to display quote and author name. That would be
Yes,
good.
yes, then quote author will be good.
Hello.
Yes.
We will be storing the country name or the country ID in database.
We will store both. So if you see our table structure,
Yeah, it's
country
written
ID will be
entity.
available. Country ID means it's serial number 1234, not a dial code. I am not talking about 911 and all. Country ID means 1234 serial number.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
can you please go to the user DTO class?
User DTO, which will represent the user information like email ID, password, phone number, something like that.
So why we need that?
Because after user login is completed, I want to understand user password is updated or not. So only for this particular method implementation, I have taken that. So if you go to service, user service.java, for this method, I have taken user DTO.
Okay.
When user login, I will get the user data. If login is successful, I should know password is updated or not for that purpose.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, in the third-party API, why don't we just display some static page, sir? Why we need dynamic codes?
Sir, it is to understand how to communicate with the third-party API. I want to show you REST API communication. Static code I can display, but you will not learn the concept, right?
Right, sir. So dynamic means it will be REST call, sir. Static,
right,
it doesn't
REST
go
call.
through
Yes,
REST.
we are going to make a REST call here.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Another question I have is: there is any alternate for time leaf, sir? Because some of these formatting issues are coming with time leaf, sir. Just
JSP is there, sir, but it's not recommended. Go with the time leaf only.
Time leaf, okay. Sir, also jQuery, why it is not updated in the Spring Boot, sir? It doesn't support
Sir,
the jQuery.
jQuery is not part of the Spring Boot, right? It is a separate front-end technology. So that's why it is not part of the Spring Boot dependencies. If you want, you need to add manually.
Manually, okay, sir. And also, why can't we use the Gmail password directly, sir? Why we have to generate the app code for that?
They don't support that, sir. Gmail people will not support it.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
That is
Makes
not
sense.
in
Thank
our
you.
hand. Earlier,
Right,
they
sir.
used it to support with our password only. I think from last 3-4 years, they changed this rule. So in the
Right.
2018, 2019, directly with password, it is used to work. But from 2020, they updated this. So with the login password, they are not supporting. You need to generate the app password for that.
Just like OAuth stuff, right, sir?
Right.
Right, sir.
Also, one question.
Yes, sir.
Actually, when we are calling that third-party API,
yeah,
for us we are making some binding class like on DTO, na?
Correct.
So then on the basis of suppose I have to do something on ID, I can do get ID.
Correct.
But that requirement I am facing is that return type they are not giving class, only going with string dot class. And then
I
they
will
are
show
saying,
you, sir. I will show you. If you take string dot class also, no problem. JSON will come directly. Then you can convert that JSON to Java object manually.
okay,
We can
then
take
they
object as a return type, or you can take string as a return type also. Anything is fine.
okay, then need to use their object mapper is mandatory after
Yes, sir.
that.
If you take string dot class, na object mapper is required.
Okay, okay. I mean, okay, that is mandatory. Got it.
Sir, normally we are taking some values from database, some values from front end, no, sir, user values.
Correct.
How it will take
In the coding part, I will show you.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why we don't use bidirectional submitting?
Not required, sir. Here it's not required. So if you
Sir,
have one single unified relationship also, that is sufficient, because just we need to able to fetch the data.
then why difference between inversion and validation, sir?
So in the relationship topic, I will explain that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, Ashok sir.
Yeah, hi.
One doubt, like by the time user is registered,
Mhm.
the password updated column should be by default it is no.
Yes, sir. At the
Then
time of
only
user registration, we will set that value as no. When we are inserting the record into the table, right? We will set that as no and we will insert that record.
okay, that is we are updating that as no in logic, right? Not from
Correct.
front end.
Correct. Not from
okay.
front end, directly in the back end, you can update it. No need to get it from the front end. That is just set a value to the variable.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
And hello.
Yeah, hi.
In REST API, what is scheduler? I mean, what is that in
Sir,
third party?
scheduler is not related to the REST API, sir. Scheduler is a Spring scheduler concept. If you want to automate some task, there is one Java program. That Java program should execute for every 1 hour.
Kind of that requirement. A particular time REST API should be trigger. I mean, run.
Yeah, I understand. Scheduler is a concept which is used to automate your task.
So in Ashok IT YouTube channel, it is some video there.
No, sir, it's not there. I will make a video this weekend on this part. Okay. So guys, you understand the work that I have done today? Is there anything difficult which are not able to understand, which you guys are not able to understand? I created a project and I added the dependency. One dependency manually I added. jQuery dependency is not available in the STS IDE directly. jQuery dependency is not available in STS IDE directly. Hence, we need to add it manually. This is the dependency that you need to add manually. Okay. Then I created entities and repositories, bindings and DTOs, service interface with required methods, creating the controller classes, creating the view pages, configure the properties in the properties file, data source properties, ORM properties, SMTP properties also I have configured. Okay, so this is how our what is this properties file is going to look like. So this is the my properties file here. This is my properties file. Here you need to configure your email, app password. Okay, Gmail app password you need to configure. I hope you know already how to generate the app password. This is for authentication purpose. And once it is completed, guys, once this is completed now, what is the next task that you need to do? You need to insert the records into country, state, and city. Okay, country, state, city tables data is static data. We need to insert manually. Insert 2 countries. For every country, insert 2 states. For every state, insert 2 cities. That data insertion you need to do manually by writing SQL queries. Okay, so first create this project structure and insert the data into database tables. That we can do it. So tomorrow I'm going to start with the coding part. First I will complete all my service layer methods, then I will start with my controller methods. So I request again, please don't wait for me to complete the code. Before coming to the class itself, I want you people to try the coding part. Then you will understand what is your mistake, where you are doing the mistake in the coding. So if you get some problem, anyhow, I'm going to do the code now, then you can understand where is the mistake and you can resolve that problem on your own. Please try to do the code before coming to tomorrow's session. In this entire project, only Ajax functionality might be new for you, that I will explain. Remaining everything is very simple. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to work on the service layer methods implementation. Is it fine for everyone? Any questions, anybody? I'm going to update these notes, so please follow this process and try to complete that coding part, guys.
Sir, need that app.js also, right, sir?
Which one? Yeah, we will
App.js.
create that, sir. When I am writing the
Okay.
Ajax, I will write that app.js.
Okay, sir.
That will be created in the
Ashok, sir.
static folder, basically.
Sir, in your Spring Boot batch, when the Spring Security and Microservices going to start?
Sir, actually for Spring Security and Microservices, I will combine the Spring Boot people and JRTP people. Sir, actually, from today, I need to start the REST API for them. All of you clear with the REST API development? All of you know the REST API development?
Yes, sir.
All of you, if you know REST API development, then directly I will combine with the microservices part. If you don't know REST API development, then I need to merge these two batches, because for the Spring Boot people, I need to teach the REST API development now. It will take 1 week to 10 days of time. How to develop a REST API, what is REST controller, what is provider, what is consumer, I am going to explain for them. If you guys also want to join, then I need to combine Spring Boot and JRTP people for 20 days for REST API, microservices, and security.
Yeah, sir, that would be great, sir. I joined in the evening batch, sir, right now, but if you can combine, I can at least,
So we'll think on that, sir. I will update you.
Okay. Okay, sir.
That one last question. So,
yeah.
Actually, I gone through your GitHub SMBC 39, that folder.
Okay.
Then I see that webflux. I mean, that code is for only asynchronous, and right now we are not using block in web client. All those things. Only
so in the Spring Boot 3.x version, the webflux implementation got changed.
So Mono is doing everything for synchronous. I mean, that example I'm not able to understand. It is synchronous is asynchronous, because only that is there for getter or post. Only one example. It is looking like kind of asynchronous.
Sure, sir. We will implement that in our project.
Okay. So that waiting period kind of synchronous.
Correct. Okay, guys. Good. So with this, I'm stopping now. We'll meet again in the tomorrow session. Please do this one. I have updated the notes in the portal. So what is the process that I have followed today? The properties also I have given. So please start the coding part, except that Ajax call. The remaining thing you can complete, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.